together with Mr. Rudy Fobe. We've got our sign language interpreters here, Men Tabiseng Sima, who will be assisted by Mr. Simon Mabusa. We'd like to welcome you to this 2025 edition of the World Day for Safety and Health at Work, where here at UNISA, we'll be revolutionizing health and safety and looking at the role of artificial intelligence and digitalization at work. Would like to start by first introducing our Vice-Chancellor, the Principal and Vice-Chancellor, Professor Puleng LenkaBula. Acknowledge again the presence of the Vice Principal, Operations and Facilities, Mr. Matiababa Mutebele, the Executive Director, Facilities Management, Mr. Ferasani Siveko. We also have got a list of distinguished guests, and some of them who will be participating in this program today. Mr. Gamelihle Sibanda from the International Labour Organization, Mr. Letlogonolo Mokhotlolwane, from the Safety, Health, Environmental Campus Association of South Africa, SECASA, Mr. Harold Gaze, from the South African Institute of Occupational Health and Safety, SAWESH, as abbreviated, Dr. Mary Kole from Bebe Wellness Center, Ms. Leonie Lowe from the Research Ethics Office here at UNISA, Mr. Ramotso Modiselle, who's the Deputy Chairperson of the UNISA Institutional Health and Safety Committee, Med Solofelo Nkuna, who's the Safety and Emergency Officer here at UNISA, Mr. Vusi Tlabangwane, who will be doing the fitness and health. He's the health and fitness influencer. He'll be here a bit later. Also, really to acknowledge the members of the UNISA Management Committee present here today, the UNISA Extended Management Committee members, UNISA staff, distinguished guests, the members of the media. This day really will not be complete if I do not acknowledge the labor representatives here today, because as I'm saying, this is a day where we celebrate and honor workers. So we'll like to acknowledge the representative from NEHAWU and its leadership present here today. They are in the program, they will be formally introduced. Also acknowledging the representatives from APSA and its representatives who are present here. They will be formally introduced as well as the program continues. Also, we've got members from Bella Bella Production who will be giving us a theater performance a bit later. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a comprehensive program. Just as introduction, may I just say all protocol observed. If I did not acknowledge you, I do apologize. Thank you and welcome very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm now going to hand over to my co-facilitator, Ms. Fobe, to just introduce the next speakers. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to the University of the Land. We are indeed honored that we are able to host the 2025 World Day for Safety and Health at Work. The program, I'll now call upon Ms. Nkuna to just do an occupational health and safety induction. Thank you.
Good morning, colleagues. All protocol observed. UNISA, like any other institution, we are compelled to do health awareness before the event starts. In case an alarm goes off, we have 2 emergency exits. Those who are upstairs, they can turn to your left, to your right-hand side. You follow the staircases that will lead you to the designated assembly points. And those who are downstairs, you can go down the staircase, out of the venue, turn to your left, follow the designated staircase, which will take you to the designated assembly points. And if we have an injury by mistake, we have medical emergencies on campus, which will attend the injured person and stabilize them. And if the need arises for the person to go to hospital, we have alerted the African Cancer Hospital to attend to any emergency that we can encounter. And we are not discriminating for those who are smoking. Kindly note that our buildings are smoke-free zones. You have to go out of the building, turn to your right, left at the staircase, go down the stairs. At the entrance, look at your far right, you will see a smoking booth where you will enjoy your smoking. And for those who need to use the bathrooms, when you go outside of the venue, slide left. On your left-hand side, you will see the accessible toilets for females. Then on your right, you'll see the accessible toilets for males. And if you come across any other emergency, kindly report it to security so that it can be attended to. We have water fountains on the foyer. Those who are thirsty, you can go outside. You'll find water fountains and glasses there. Please help yourself. And then I would like to tell you that safety is a shared responsibility. Let's take care of each other and enjoy the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nkuna, for the safety protocols. Colleagues, our VC is pressed for time, so it gives me a great honor and privilege really to introduce to you the Lady of the Land. Professor Puleng LenkaBula.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fobe. Colleagues, I did not know about the land. I'm still in need, so I'm very excited that today I'm the Lady of the Land. Good morning. Sanbonan, Molweni, Lachan, Absheni, Machalon, Khotong. Bonjour. Kalimera, ni hao. Yes. Thank you very much. I want to thank the program director and the sign language interpreters. I want to appreciate that you've made the time to support this important event that our Vice Principal, Operations and Facilities, and the university are hosting to commemorate and celebrate this important day when we have to project the imperative of safety, of health, of the developments in digital systems, and the 2025 World Day for Safety and Health at Work. Let me acknowledge first and foremost, in support of what my colleagues have already done, Mr. Gamelihle Sibanda, the International Labour Organization Senior Specialist, Employment Intensive Investment Program and Decent Work Team for Southern Africa. Let me acknowledge Mr. Lihlonolo Mokgolwane, President of Safety and Health and Environment Campus Association of South Africa. And equally important, let me recognize Mr. Harold Gasse, Vice President of South African Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, and of course, Dr. Mary Khole Mbembe, Wellness Center, who are our guests. Let me also acknowledge the presence of the Deputy Vice-Chancellors, the MENCOM leaders that work together as a collective to ensuring that our safety, our health, and the improvements of our university are taking place. The host, we have already acknowledged Mr. Mutebele, Matsia Baba Mutebele. I recognize Professor Mahanu, the Vice Principal, Institutional Advancement. I know that Dr. Molapo, Professor Sikwe, and others, and the CFO. Where is the CFO? I think he's sitting somewhere at the back. And the CFO, Mr. Stanfleet, are all here to support. Let me also thank you, you who are present this morning. You woke up to reaffirm and reassert the safety issues. Can you give yourselves a round of applause? No, akili utlubatum. Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm truly honored that we are meeting this morning. And as you would see, UNISA is hosting multiple events, not only the World Safety Day, but also we have the G20 preparatory meetings on the role of the academy and the diplomacy. So please be aware that there are multiple events and we're quite appreciative. I'd like to be with you for the whole day, but unfortunately I've been assigned multiple responsibility. As such, if you see me leaving, it's not because I'm leaving permanently, I'll come back. So it is both an honor and a privilege to welcome you to this year's commemoration of the World Day for Safety, Health at Work, which we are observing today in this important hall, the ZK Matthews Hall. The 25th April, in anticipation of the official date, the 28th April, which coincides with the National Public Day, is actually the date to which we should be celebrating. But as usual, and as UNISA, we thought it was important to celebrate it whilst we are together. I know many of you might have wanted to be at home or to be shopping because it's the 25th, but I'm very appreciative that we are here to celebrate health and wellness. Sometimes money can steal health and wellness, sometimes it can augment it. So I want you to be excited that we have designated this day to engage together on what are the important imperatives that the University of South Africa, but our society must invest in for the success of health and well-being, wellness, and organizational health states that is required in terms of OHS requirements. But in a world that is strengthening digital systems and digitization, some of the questions that are being asked today is how do we deploy technology, artificial intelligence, and other modes of work that strengthen how we human beings work. This annual observance, initiated by the International Labour Organization in 2003, serves as a global reminder of our collective duty to uphold and promote safe, healthy, and dignified working environments for all. This year, the focus is particularly timely and relevant as we turn our attention to the impacts of digitization and artificial intelligence on workers' safety and health. As we stand at the crossroads of technological advancements and workplace transformation, we are compelled to reflect deeply on the evolving nature of work. Digitization and artificial intelligence offer unprecedented efficiencies and opportunities, but they also bring forth new challenges that we must meet with foresight, empathy, and responsibility. From ergonomic concerns in remote work or here at the university to algorithmic decision-making in high-risk sectors, it is imperative that our frameworks and safety frameworks especially evolve in tandem with these technological changes. The statistics remain sobering. 2.3 million work-related deaths each year, roughly 6,500 every year, underscore this urgency of our mission. As universities and as UNISA, we must constantly care about workplace safety, health, and how we act with agility in support of the workforce. These are not just the numbers. They're the lives of people who lost, the lives lost, the families shattered, and the communities affected. They call us into action. Finally, colleagues, it is very important in the spirit of the ILO call for participation and social dialogue that with this, we as UNISA affirm our unwavering commitment to fostering an inclusive, transparent, and proactive health and safety culture. We believe in every voice, from students to support staff, from faculty to management, in matters in shaping an environment where well-being is a shared priority. As a university and as a community, we are uniquely positioned to lead by example. Let us seize the opportunity to engage with new ideas, interrogate our practices, and invest in sustainable, people-centered solutions. Let us also take a moment to appreciate the efforts of all those who work tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure that our campuses, offices, virtual spaces remain safe and secure. In closing, I'd like to thank every one of you for your presence this morning. And as I said, I know it's the 25th, and sometimes there are competing interests on the 25th. And I see that you're not allowed to compete with you. You're here at UNISA, you're here to work and to support this important imperative of safety at work. Can I request you to give yourself a round of applause? Finally, may today's discussions inspire renewed commitment and meaningful action. Let us continue to honor the spirit of this day, not only in ceremony, but in practice every single day. And as I conclude, I'm also appreciative, colleagues, to thank you as the staff of UNISA, whether as administrative staff, professional staff, or the academy, for the great work that you do for the university. Earlier on this month, we received the Department of Higher Education performance of universities on research. And I'm very proud that UNISA has moved to top 6 in the university list. The universities that have succeeded before us, and I think we will work well together to ensure that next year we're in top 5. But University of Johannesburg is number 1. University of KwaZulu-Natal is number 2. University of Pretoria, our neighbor, is number 3. University of Stellenbosch is number 4. University of Witwatersrand, Johannesburg is number 5. University of South Africa is number 6. Northwest University is number 7. And University of Cape Town is number 8. University of, University of Free State and Western Cape are therefore in the top 10. I just thought it's very important when you, colleagues, work collectively with all of us to ensure that our university is a leader in research, to know that our research on safety, on health and well-being is also quite an important aspiration for us to strengthening. And as we work towards the hospital, the veterinary hospital, we will be strengthening the university work. Welcome to UNISA, the home of leaders, the university that is rising, and through our collective efforts. Welcome, enjoy today. Thank you.
Thank you, VC, for gracing us with your presence and wisdom. Thank you also for leading this August University in how to create an enabling environment that are underpinned by wellness and safety. Colleagues, I'm now going to hand over to Mr. Joe Bopape, who will introduce Mr. Motebele. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Ms. Fobe. Colleagues, the World Day for Safety and Health at Work is observed annually on the 28th of April. So as you know, on the 28th of April, we'll be home on a public holiday. This day itself was established by the International Labour Organization in 2003 as an awareness campaign to promote health and safety at work so that we can prevent accidents. As you know, occupational health and safety is legislated here at work, actually in the country. And the Institutional Occupational Health and Safety Committee resides within the portfolio operations and facilities. It is to this end, really, that I would like to introduce the Vice Principal, Operations and Facilities, Mr. Matsiababa Motebele, to come and give a broader context. We heard from the Vice-Chancellor, who gave us an open address. Mr. Motebele, as I'm saying, he's the Vice Principal, Operations and Facilities. He's got 22 years work experience in the project and facility space. He, by default, chairs the Institutional Health and Safety Committee, which has been delegated to this portfolio. With those few words, I'd like to introduce Mr. Matsiababa Motebele. Thank you.
Good morning, Thobela. Thank you very much, Mr. Bopape, and also thank to you, Dr. Trudy Fobe, for this opportunity. I was saying to the organizing committee that it's very difficult to speak after the VC have spoken. She would have touched on all aspects of the subject matter. But thank you very much. It is indeed an honor and privilege to be afforded this opportunity to speak on the context with regard to today's commemoration of the World Day for Safety and Health at the Workplace. Ordinarily, this day is celebrated on the 28th of April. But because the 28th of April coincides with the public holiday, we thought let's take this opportunity to celebrate it on the 25th, which is here today. I would recognize all guests present here, organized labor, the students, extended management, and I would say all protocols observed. Established by the International Labour Organization, this global observance underscores a simple yet powerful truth. Every worker in every setting deserves a safe and healthy environment. While this principle has long been recognized in industry, today, as UNISA, we reaffirm its importance here in academia, where our students, staff, and staff members navigate a complex and often high-risk environment of laboratories, workshops, construction zones, and collaborative spaces. Today, we are not only celebrating progress, we are facing forward towards the future of safety in an increasingly digital and connected world. Because as we stand at the crossroads of the fourth industrial revolution, we are witnessing unprecedented change in the way we work and the way we keep each other safe at work. The fourth industrial revolution, or 4IR, is characterized by the integration of technologies like artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, automation, and big data, and its impact on occupational health and safety is profound. We'll just touch on the few aspects, and for sure my colleagues from the International Labour Organization will deal with the broader aspects of today's theme. For instance, in today's world, data analytics now allows us to move beyond reaction. With enhanced data collection, we can identify trends of incidences and near misses In the past, you would capture this manually, using predictive analytics to anticipate hazards before they occur. The sensors that we use today, as supported by 4IR, are already transforming our workplaces from monitoring air quality in labs and alerting us of gas leaks or temperature spikes. Real-time data is making prevention much faster and more effective. Wearable technology, smart vests, helmets, and fitness trackers can now monitor vital signs and environmental exposure, adding another layer of protection for those in high-risk settings. Automation that I've already spoken about is removing the human involvement from dangerous tasks, whether it's lifting heavy loads or operating hazardous machinery. Robotics and automated systems are reducing risks of the source. Remote monitoring tools enable oversights from almost anywhere, making it possible to maintain safety standards and respond to incidences even when teams are distributed or off-site. Virtual reality training that we are embarking on as the university is also a game changer in education and preparation. Simulated environments help staff and students experience realistic safety scenarios without the real-world risk. Technologies like drones are enhancing inspections in hard-to-take or dangerous areas, especially in construction, engineering, and facilities maintenance, all relevant to our campus and operations as the university. Technologies like drones have captured that. Health monitoring systems and compliance tracking tools are helping organizations meet emerging safety standards while also flagging potential risks before they escalate. And perhaps most importantly, in today's context, mental health is finally being recognized as an essential part of the workplace safety. Digital tools are making it easier to provide support, reduce stressors, and foster a culture of care and empathy. In summary, these advancements are not just innovations, they are tools for transformation. When used wisely, they empower us to predict, prevent, and protect. They help us move from policy to practice, from hazard to harmony. Here at our university, these ideas are not just theoretical, they are actionable. As educators, researchers, and leaders, we have the opportunity and responsibility to embed these innovations into our systems, to model best practices for our students, and to collaborate across disciplines to build safer, smarter workplaces. Let this day serve as both a celebration of our achievements and challenges to do better. Let it be a spark for conversations, for learning, and for taking real steps towards safer environments for anyone and anywhere. Today is not about, it is not only about reflection, it is also about the recommitment to prevention, to a culture of awareness, and to proactive leadership in every corner of our university. It is also a time to honor those who have been impacted by unsafe working conditions and to recognize the efforts being made every day to build safer, more inclusive workspaces. Thank you for being here and for caring and for being part of this solution. Together we can make health and safety a fundamental right, not just a goal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Motebele. Your reflection on the context of today crystallized how we can effectively deploy 4IR in ensuring and enhancing occupational health and safety in the workplace, while spotlighting the importance of mental health in our workspaces. Next on the program is a performance by Industrial Theatre, the Mpela production. So if they can come forward, thank you once again. Are they here?
siyasebenza.
Thina siyasebenza.
Every Monday morning, basin, toothbrush, toothpaste, switch, boom, 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 switch. Amanzi, ubuso, amanzi, amakopa, amanzi, Hayi, so wabona kusasa, thina siyosebenza. Kwanta, sasuka.
Clogging card. Breathalyzer.
Native. TYY, highway, TYY, highway, PPE, personal protective equipment, pre-work inspection.
Working environment.
Check.
Equipment.
Check.
Staff.
Check.
Okay, guys, we are good to go. And Nyankela, please let us adhere to the safety rules and regulations. It's about doing the right thing, yes. And that is called
integrity.
Preppy to Corona Mshanji. I was thinking which one to resign because you are forever absent. Okay, team. Yes, let's have a productive day. But whatever you do, let us stick to the production plan. If there's anyone else on Funa, I'll be in my office. Hey, I can't put it down. Huh? This place is dead. I don't have to clean. It looks like a mess.
Okay.
Clean. It looks like a mess.
Sipho!
Hey man, that woman is always complaining. Yes, she thinks about the company akubo le. Hey, wabimthini? Awusenazo lapho. Wena ePrapito ushaya emaphakathini. Mina ngizoyidonsa from ngayizo. Yazi she's always complaining. Because Tina, we are here to work. Tina siyasebenza lana. Sebenza lona. Huya julu. Sebenza huya julu. 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 Kwema, hey. So madoda. Yazi, today is Monday and my head is so heavy. Yo, Nkosi yami, bengenzani izolo? Chance, I have an idea now. Yeah. Because UNISA has introduced these new technologies to us. Okay. Namhlanje, we no longer work hard. We work smart. Sure. Hey, Chance.
Yeah?
You know what? I was thinking we would let us speed up the production so that I can go and get my medication.
Medication? Are you sick?
No, daughter. It is my special kind of medication. And it is the only thing that can cure me, Namhlanje.
Oh, man, what do you mean, Sipho?
Oh, Hamilton. He means he has hangover. He needs only 2 cold beers angithi uyazi ukuthi Eva likhishwa ngeva.
Hayi,
Hayi khona.
ngena lana Brapit. You've got it. Lalela lana, gents. Mina, today, I suggest that we push this machine to 120 kilometers per hour. Yeah, because we no longer have to work hard, guys. We work smart.
Hey.
Yeah? We don't need gloves. Huh? We don't need PPE. This machine is automatic, mfana. Umshini ayishintshayo izinto ezikhala kahle. You know what? I'm taking a smoke break. Mangibuya la kuyasetshenzwa 120 walala wasala.
Hayi man. Hey, Brapit.
Yeah.
Awungitshele, what's wrong with Sipho ndoda? Yazi uSipho, he's been taking unnecessary smoke break la. And he wants to risk and speed up the production. Hayi khona. Angeke Brapit. Angeke kwenzeke lokho. Regardless of this new machine, we still need to stick to a production plan.
Yeah.
Lento yakhe ye 120. No, it's not safe at all. Not only for a production, Brapit, but for us, Tina.
Yeah, kodwa mshana, it's only for today, man. Yeah? I mean, no one is watching, so nobody can see.
Aye, man,
I'm son. I think they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Brapit, we must always do the right thing even when no one is watching.
Hey, hi, man. Mshana,
Yeah.
please, man, don't be so stiff. Eh? You know, Uchi, Mondays are heavy for everyone. Even our bosses, they are babalazed. Yeah? They are suffering from acronyms like VS, VSOP, XO, VERV. Yasikanda.
Hayi khona. Bafowethu niyamuzwa kodwa Brapit. This kind of mentality won't take us anywhere. Thina abanye, we are here emsebenzini to work for our families. Asizange ukuzodlala thina la. Yeah, Brapit.
Yeah.
Awungitshele. Do you want to resign one? Because you are always absent. And I'm certain ukuthi amalanga wakho wama-leave this year aphelile. Hey, Brapit, man. Hey. You know, this cough of yours, it's getting worse every day. You need to go to the on-site clinic and have yourself checked. Brapit, if ungazizwa kahle, you don't have to work. Because if we are forced, uzokhoza some hazards and unnecessary occupational injuries, man.
Oh, Hamilton, it's just flu, man.
Aye.
Eh? Nothing that you can worry about. Eh? And as for occupational injuries, no, lapho ke ungangithathela ama-shots. No, my sheet is clean here in UNISA. My page is clean. Lapho ke you can ask everyone. Mina, I've never heard any of the occupational injuries icon. And when you must stop talking to me like that. My experience is actually older than your father.
No, ngiyayazi leyo Brapit. Ngiyayazi leyo Brapit. Kodwa le flu yakho lena, it's affecting the production.
Hayi man, shana.
Brapit.
Hey.
Lalela Brapit. Uyabona yonke lento le oyenzayo wena Brapit, ayisebenzi. We are a team, Tina Brapit lana, and we need to work as a team. A team that is incomplete, angeke ibe functional.
Oh, Mshan. Angithi, this is where you guys come in. You guys need to back me up. Phela mina I know ukuthi with you behind me, I am safe.
Kodwa, how do we back you up, Brapit, if you don't want to take care of yourself?
Hey, Mshana.
You don't complete our leave forms. You know very well ukuthi all the UNISA members need to complete our leave forms for days absent. It's been weeks, and you know very well that you are slowing down in production because of your health.
Oh, Mshan.
Brapit, ngiyacela. Go to the on-site clinic and have yourself checked, not only for production, but for your well-being too.
Hey, Brapit! Escape, man. The next thing
So when you want me to go to the clinic so that you can start gossiping about me? Angithi nezazi ukuthi ninjani nabantu bala UNISA. Hey,
yeah.
Nethanda ukusinqengela ngamagama abantu kuma manager, You want me to be with the talk of the town?
Yeah.
Bafowethu, even if Brapit can lose his job, he will still be the talk of the town. Ayikho njalo kanjalo. Hawu, Brapit, lalela. Into ebuhlungu lana ukuthi lento lena mayenzeka, it won't only affect you. is to affect the people who are close to you. I'm talking about your wife, your children, your sick brother, Papit. Hey, lalela Papit. Uyabona makube kunento ezidlayo ofuna ukuzikhuluma. Kepha awukhona ukuthi uzikhulume nathi. Hamba uye ku emergency assistance production. EPD bazokusiza.
Hey, umshayela ngathi ziyamshaya. Ungishaya ngoba EPD. Oh, ngathi ufuna ukuthi EPA.
Nakho, okay. Uyambona ukuthi uvukile. Uyambona ukuthi uvukile.
In fact, I'm in Rapid is organized.
Yeah.
You know, this man, when he suggests that when you die and you're going to leave your wife, he means that he wants to enter. I'm telling you. The only person who will lose their job is this coach of Kaizer Chiefs.
Kaizer Chiefs?
I know, but you know that the only time Kaizer Chiefs can score is when they warm up.
What the hell is it?
You know all the players. As in Yamas Gama Kepula, as a Kepulum Kama Spanas opening, it's a pencil, the Black Knight, the Black Forest.
Hey, Nyawabona Mapagania, tell me before it. Why is Mamelodi Sundowns the best team in the country?
It's obvious, Baba. It is because they are rich.
Aye.
Hey, Wena, did you know that Petrus Mutsepe is the one who is supplying this new technology of VAR? That is why they win.
How? I'm sure you are lying.
Yeah.
But for what? Yabona Sundowns is the best team in the country because they work together as a team.
Yes.
Each player is contributing to the game.
Yes.
And then this means that they are committed to a team.
I like that one, Papiti.
Yeah.
Working as a team.
Yes.
We are wondering if a team is complete, healthy, and putting good quality. Oh, nyakela. A team yenza show ukuthi ihlale on point.
Exactly, Sha.
Bafowethu, andingitsheleni kahle. What do you think would happen to Mamelodi Sundowns if they didn't have all these elements?
Obviously, they were going to lose.
Yeah.
Yabo?
And you see, now if they are on the losing side, it means they would be relegated.
Yes.
If they're relegated, they would lose sponsors.
Yes.
When they lose sponsors, then the team will be sold.
Mom kids.
Yeah.
Lunchtime.
Gentlemen, what's for lunch?
Huh?
You plan namhlanje yazini. Asidleni as a team, man. Sisi, ikhona salad ne apple juice or vegetable juice. Huh? Oh yeah, la. Oh okay.
Siswami, yeah, bengisacela sandwich. Yes, namanzi nje. Thank you very please.
Hey, how's it, Mshana? Hey, no appetite, man. Grandpa and water, please. Yeah.
Hi, baby girl. Kunjani? Hey, you look fresh namhlanje. Listen, I need inyama yenhloko and pap and extra pap. Please make sure that you put umhluzu and a lot of chilies. It's Monday namhlanje. Kuyafiwa.
Hayi siphosta Gamelihle.
How?
Udla kanje.
What?
Ukuthi uyawazibona nje ukuthi unjani. Bheka ukuthi ungakanani. Enye into engihlanyisa okugcina ukuthi uvele ujuluke ube manzi nte singakaqali nokusebenza. Bheka. Yo.
What's your problem?
Mina into engayisho ne. You must watch what you eat.
Hey, there she goes. I must watch what I eat. Is there any person who can eat with their eyes closed, Mara? Eh? Oini, you have a problem with my belly. Do you know what they say? A man without a belly is childish.
What she means, Uguti, you must try and eat healthy.
Yeah.
That's it.
Let's eat as a team because we work as a team.
Yes.
Yeah. Yabona futhi nani niyazi man guys ukuthi yazi we work best as a team umasiphelele. Yabona if it happens ukuthi omunye wethu lana Wellington nani zosiphelela. Sipho kwenzeka la.
I know, si sharp. No, everyone is okay. Rapid, you are fine, Angit. Yeah, Wellington, you are okay now, Angit. Yes, we are all okay, Lana.
Hi, Mara. As I was saying, basebenzi, you understand ukuthi uSipho mele a report zonke lezi zinto lezi on time because we are supervisor of a working team. Hayi man Sipho, yazi kahle kahle irresponsibility sonke yethu sonke ukuthi sizireporte lezi zinto lezi. Phela thina as UNISA we pride ourselves with quality, safety and attendance instead of absenteeism, ukulova. Hayi man guys, it can't be that difficult, yes, with new technologies UNISA as introduce kuwo. Yazi yenza umsebenzi wethu ube very easy.
Oh, kushukuthi nathi we need to revolutionize health and safety.
Exactly.
Back to work.
Umsebenzi, madoda. Akuseshweni, madoda.
Hey, that's Lorna. Majansi ngikhala nginikhuza ngalona.
Yini man?
Yazi, she thinks that UNISA is her mother's place. Huh?
Ushukuthini manje mawutsho
She
kanjalo?
goes every day telling us about respecting the rules and regulations of safety. Ngathi singabantwana abancane. Mara yena, does she do that in her high-class office? Because the other day I saw her. Uyabona ukuthi umama uyaclean outside and ufake isign ebhaliwe ukuthi caution wet floor. Hayi yena shemuyenza namakwayikwayi wakhe wasemarabastad. The safety that she is preaching, does she practice it? Anyway, it's fine, guys. Let us do what we are here for, working for our families. Angithi niyazi ukuthi lo machine lo is automatic and so running 120 kilometers per hour. Hey! Mabaleki wena. Imala. How? 120. Hey, madoda. Asithathe le machine lapho sameze. Awuzeke mfana kithi. Woza ngena lana. Khala nsimbi. Khala, what's it? Khala nsimbi. Khala, what's it? Musho nsimbi. Musho nsimbi. Khala nsimbi. Khala, what's it? Khala nsimbi. Khala, what's it? Musho nsimbi. Musho nsimbi. Khala nsimbi.
Sipho wenzani? Sipho! Wenzani? Emergency switch! Off! Hayi khona!
What are you doing?
Hayi khona Sipho!
What are you doing?
I can't work like this, mina ndoda. Just because wena, you had the best night last night. Manje uyafika, ufuna ukusebenzisa kanje. Hayi khona man.
What's your problem with?
You are putting our life at risk.
Yini songidlela umona?
Man, you know very well, Uti, we must follow the safety procedure at all times so that we can avoid fatalities.
Yeah.
Occupational health, Sipho, it's very important.
Yes, I'm sure.
Khona manje, wena, as a supervisor, you can't even report to Prapito Uti. He is not fit to work.
Angiyona impimpi mina.
Ngena.
Upheke la.
That's causing our injuries, Sipho. How are we going to get to zero harm? Zero injuries, Sipho. Zero fatalities.
Hey, ungibangela isitefu uyangirasela. It's a Monday ngiphethwe ibhabhalazi. Hey, awume kancane. I am the supervisor here and you are not.
I'm not gonna do what?
Hey, you must follow my instructions.
I won't do that.
Hi, Bashan. No. I think we have to vote. All right. Those who say we must speed up production so that we reach our target within a blink of an eye, raise your hands.
Yeah. Now, babaningi wonke umuntu lapho uvumelana nami.
How? All right. Those who say we must follow the production plan and do the right thing, raise your hands. How? By 3. I guess it's your call.
No, bafowethu. Shortcuts will not take us anywhere. Instead, associated our injuries. We've never operated this machine 120. Usipho yena, he's not wearing his full PPE each and every day. Khona manje, wena Brapit, uhlala ukhwehlela. And it's been long because awuyifaki dust mask yakho. Khona manje uyangi-infectile Brapit. You've infected me.
Now he's playing a blame game. Ndoda siyasebenza asenanga uzoblame
mina.
uRapid is old. Wenzile umsebenzi wakhe la eUnisa nanoma ngafa shame. La. Ngena lapha emshinini wakho ndoda. Siyasebenza manje 120 kilometers per hour. Walala wasala. Khala Tsimbi. Khala Tsimbi. Khala Tsimbi. Khala Tsimbi. Mosho Tsimbi. Mosho Tsimbi. Khala Tsimbi. Khala Tsimbi. Khala Tsimbi. Khala Tsimbi. Mosho
Imkhuseli umshana uyaphapha.
my wife is going to leave me.
Awuzwa man, hayi.
Uyaphapha umshana.
Bakwethu, this is what happens when we bypass our rules and regulations of safety. The choice I make out here impact my safety and the safety of others.
This can be avoided if we adhere to the rules and regulations of health and safety. Occupational health is of paramount importance. Poor communication will cause occupational hazards, but good communication will prevent occupational hazards.
Basebenzi, shortcuts will cut our lives short. I lost my fingers, and my hands were my tools to provide for my family. And now, I may lose my job. Remember, your hands are your tools, and once you lose them, they can never be replaced. A good working environment, good safety choices, and good communications are a sign of responsibility. And that alone can create a strong safety culture.
UNISA is going out of its way to bring us health and safety to us. Ngama programs afana njengalawa. Plus, we have a clinic on site. So basebenzi, let us use these resources. An unhealthy body causes illnesses. Illnesses causes absenteeism, bese i-affecta i-production. So let us check, man. Regularly checkups, so that so detect ama illnesses wethu ukuthi lawa afuna ukuba treated or afuna ukuba cured. So a healthy body is a productive tool.
Let us get to zero harm by walking on designated areas, using handrails when using stairs, respecting the rules and regulations of safety, driving within a speed limit when driving a forklift or any other vehicle. Always and always wearing our PPE. Let us respect the rules and regulations of safety at all times, because safety does not end here at our workplace. It goes all the way, from the security at the gate, to the receptionist, to the cleaner, to the management up there. Let us respect the rules and regulations of safety in our respective departments, because safety does not end here at work, but it goes all the way. My safety, your safety, our safety. Safety always, all the way.
Okay, guys, since we are celebrating Mamelani ke.
Marungeste.
No, nyamazi maraso. Athi manje uqinile and ufasa nengqondo. We are celebrating the International Occupational Health and Safety Day. Hashtag revolutionize health and safety.
Manje njengoba iyenzeka lento lena sizobona bobani la ikuza bobani nje namhlanje.
Impela production izoletha labo bantu labo, then bazosibonisa yonke lento lena in a very exciting yazini.
bakhona namhlanje.
Ona.
They are here. Hey man, guys, bengicabanga ukuthi bani bafowethu. Let us go and check them out.
Yeah.
Wena uhlaleleni siyasebenza ma.
Thank you very much, and thanks to Mpela Production for that apt performance, given the day that we are celebrating today. I know that a lot of team members, supervisors, team leaders, managers, actually a lot of us across the board could relate to some of the messages that were being relayed here, the type of challenges that we have faced, etc. So, yeah, it was a very good performance based on occupational health and safety. As I said, it's legislated. One person who's really responsible for ensuring occupational health and safety is implemented and the institution adheres to the principles and standards of occupational health and safety is Mr. Feresani Sibeko, who's the Executive Director, Facilities Management. I'm going to call him to come and introduce our keynote speaker for today. Thanks. Mr. Sibeko.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bopape. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning again. Yes, indeed, I think that was quite electrifying and really sending the message of health and safety at work. And yeah, we need such messages more often really to remind us. But my job this morning, ladies and gents, is to introduce our keynote speaker of today's event. As you know, in most cases, especially with some of us in the built environment who manages health and safety, like the program director has indicated, you know, you manage labor at work and you manage infrastructure projects. He's no stranger to some of us because you are bound to, one way or another, to to interact with him. So our keynote speaker has over 31 years of international professional experience, mainly in public works and public employment and investment programs. He is the International Labour Organization Senior Specialist for Employment, Intensive Investment Programs, and provides technical backstopping to programs over 18 countries covered by the Decent Work Team for Eastern and Southern Africa. Over 27 of these years have been spent working with the International Labour Organization in Sub-Saharan Africa, and the rest in government, consulting, and applied research. He has worked in various capacities, liaising with government, universities, infrastructure authorities, employers' organizations, unions, donors, United Nations, consultants, contractors, and communities on policy, financing, feasibility, research, design, training, employment creation, transition to a greener economy, and implementation of climate resilient infrastructure and environmental projects in both rural and urban environments. That's quite loaded. And in terms of education, our keynote speaker today, colleagues, he holds MSc in biomimicry, which is innovation inspired by nature and nature-based solutions. He's got an MBA in finance, a BSc Honours in Civil Engineering, along with postgraduate diploma in machine learning and artificial intelligence. He is an advocate for human in the loop in the AI-driven future of work. And indeed, colleagues, I think we are honored to be in the presence of Mr. Gamelihle Sibanda. Please join me in welcoming him on stage.
Thank you. I think I'm getting technical assistance on my presentation. Maybe whilst you are waiting, I don't know how much you know about the International Labour Organization, but it's one of the, in fact, it's the oldest United Nations organization, having been established in 1919 after the First World War. But if you take a break, lunch break, think of ILO. They are the ones who negotiated for you to have a lunch break, to work from 8 to 4 in the afternoon. Maternity leave, your minimum wage, and of late, we thought we had solved all the problems in the workplace, and then boom, AI came. Now we have people working in their pajamas in their bedrooms, and we don't know how to provide them with a safe working environment. And we're debating, because some of them you think, okay, we'll find you a place to get your pension, and then some of them are working for 10 employees in one day. So anyway, let me start. I've been given 30 minutes, so I'm going to time myself, and I'll try and stop when it beeps, regardless of where I will be. So let's see if that works, starting now. Okay, so I don't know if there is something to move the, is it a touch screen? No, it's not. How do I move? Is there a mouse? Technical support, how do I move the slides? Oh, I can use the manual. You see, so I'm going to skip the outline of what I'll talk about and just go straight and talk to you about it. Let's just check here. Who has never used AI in the workplace? Who has never used AI in the workplace? Okay. Who uses AI every day in the workplace? Okay. So I sit in a civil engineering advisory board for one of the 10 universities that were mentioned. And last week, we had a board meeting and we were discussing with the academia, and they were telling me that they are working on ensuring that their students don't use AI to cheat. And then I said, what about you? Do you use AI? Oh yeah, we do it for research and to set our exams and whatever. So I said, so if you are using it, why don't you want your students to use it? Then we had an interesting conversation, which I don't have time to go into, but eventually we all agreed that AI is here whether you want it or not. You can't stop it. You just need to give it guardrails. It's like putting someone in a room like this and saying, play, don't jump through the window. And that's where we need to be going. But where are we now with the AI? So we are seeing digitalization. Yo, this English, it came by ship. So, but it's affecting everything. The play told us about productivity. People want to see productivity, but safety is important. But now there's also mental and psychosocial well-being that we need to think about. And then we are going to be talking about some global examples, but we will also talk about the global context. And then let's start by the good things that we think AI has brought us, starting with the reshaping of the work environment. We have seen changes in titles. A few years ago, there was no one called a WhatsApp administrator. I'm sure some of you are WhatsApp administrators here. And we are told in the next 5 to 10 years, there will be a billionaire who is the single employee in their company, and they might be operating from their bedroom in their pajamas. But of course, having worked in a creation of employment, for me, I always look at how can we use AI to create more jobs. So I don't see AI as coming to take your job. As they say, AI is not coming to take your job, but the person using AI is coming for you to take your job, to replace you. So there are good things that we are seeing with AI. For instance, we heard from the facilities manager earlier on how it's reducing the hazardous conditions. For instance, if you are working in a mining foundry, and in the old days, people would hold molten liquid metal and pour it over. Now we can use robots to do that so that humans can stay away from that dangerous heat. Or if we saw that explosion in Johannesburg, who was the first person to go underneath to check what happened? I hope they put in some of the crawler robots or drones to go underneath there before you could take the people and check that the fumes were safe, they were not toxic, and all these kind of things. So these are good things we are seeing. And the real-time hazard monitoring, which again is a good thing, we are seeing especially in areas like construction now, where we have a helmet with sensors, with geofencing. If you walk into a place where you're not supposed to be, it beeps and warns you you're in the wrong place, or it informs your supervisor that this worker is strayed into an area where they are not supposed to be. They might get injured. Or it might even help you in real time to prevent accidents. When we're coming down here, one of the gentlemen who was leading us, because there were many of our speakers, and he put his foot on the elevator to block it from closing and put his hand. We're all happy we went in, but the elevator was so angry, it started beeping, and at some point he took out his leg and barely pulled out his hand before it came in and things like that. I'm hoping when I come back in 10 years' time, your elevators will be having cameras which will be seeing who is coming, and then they will open, and then when everyone is in, only then they will close. There will be no need for anyone to use their foot to block it. Already we have elevators like that in some companies. They know which people like to go home early. If you are by 4:30, by 4:15, they know these ones, they leave the office quickly. It goes and waits there. This is AI knowing how you work. And predictive analytics for safety. We've already heard about wearable devices, like, for instance, a vest that you can wear, and then it can tell what your body vitals are undergoing, and maybe you are working in a strenuous environment, and then the AI will be able to say, no, this person is overexerted themselves, please take them out of this situation, it's now dangerous. And work-life balance, of course, thanks to COVID, unfortunately we lost loved ones, but thanks to COVID now we have tools that enable us to work at home, but if it is properly managed. And then we are also seeing the downside of AI, of course, where we over-rely on it. Some of the sensors which controlled most of the things that help us, if that sensor fails, we are doomed. We are seeing autonomous vehicles, and what happens if that vehicle sees people on the front and sees people on the side, and maybe there is a dog crossing? Who should it prioritize? Should it kill the person in the vehicle, or should it kill the ones crossing, or should it veer off the road and kill the dog? But when that accident happens, who is at fault? Is it the owner of the vehicle? Is it the manufacturer? We're entering a space that is completely unprecedented. We know nothing about some of these things. But for us at ILO, it's all about workplace safety and health, not just the physical safety, but also the mind, the health, and the mental side of things. Cybersecurity breaches. Think about somebody, for instance, who hacks into the system, and then we've got maybe doors that are electronically controlled using AI. Our facilities VP here is sitting nicely, and someone hacks in, and they trigger these alarms, or they start a fire, and then when we try to escape, they close the door. Who could do that? Maybe a disgruntled student who failed their exams because they were drinking too much and they didn't study, they failed. Now they think they can hack the university. There are a lot of people who have bad intentions. So we are seeing those kind of things happening. And then algorithmic management, the impact of that. There is a certain gentleman who is very rich. I can't name his name because I could be sued. But last week or 2 weeks ago, he sent his girlfriend to space to have fun. In his company, I remember there was an incident, which you can Google, by the way, it's not me saying this, where the algorithm would be monitoring the performance of the workers on the shop floor. And then it would tell this one's productivity is very low, fire them. The manager just comes, oh, I didn't fire you. It's the AI that fired you. It says you're not working hard. And then the top performer, one day the top performer loses a loved one. They go and bury a loved one. They come back on Monday to resume work because they are still grieving. Their productivity is down. But the AI doesn't know that this person is grieving. It says, this one was a perfect employee. Look, this past week they are hopeless. Get rid of them. So this is the algorithmic management system that we are saying should not be allowed to dictate how we do our work. Okay? And then, of course, we do see biases in the algorithm as well. If a particular company used to hire people who are coming from Santon, the algorithm is trained that the people from Santon or from this particular school or particular university, maybe from UNISA, and then you show up with your degree from another university or you come from Soweto, the AI will say this one is not suitable for our culture in our company. So you need to people to modify. That's why the human in the loop is very important, to ensure that the AI does not go astray or does not perpetuate existing biases. Because remember, the AI, in any case, is as good as the data on which it is trained. And then let's talk about some digital transformation challenges. So we have in South Africa a recognition of 4IR, and we have the Presidential Commission on that, which we are well aware of. And we are seeing a lot of facility injuries, or let me say construction facility related injuries. But we're also seeing other tools like Internet of Things, which can sense, as we were told, to dangerous toxic levels. In the future, when we are sitting here, the AI-controlled sensors will dictate that the oxygen levels are too low, and then they will push in more oxygen, or if there is other gases that need to be neutralized. That's a good thing, but there's also the downside if you over-rely on that and it fails to perform as expected. So what are some of the positive impacts of this? We have AI-guided robots that can do hazardous work, as I mentioned, where it would be unsafe or dangerous for workers to work. Maybe it could be a poisonous environment or a very risky job, like where you need to send people down into a mine. We recently had those people trapped in the mine. We're told they were, how many, 4,000 whatever. That was an exact example where you would use some high-tech tools to go down and see what's going on, rather than sending a person to go and do that remote inspection. And surgical robotics, we have now some robots that can carry out surgery more accurately than human doctors. But of course, we still need doctors in the loop. Most of the planes actually can fly themselves now, but I wouldn't get into a plane that is flown without a pilot inside myself, at least not yet. So, and then we have musculoskeletal relief, where you are having people maybe working in a very strenuous environment. So you can wear these exoskeletons, so that all of a sudden you are lifting 100 kgs and yourself you are 50 kgs. But of course the risk is you can still overexert yourself, or if that sensor is not working well, it will break your back if it is not managed properly. So everything comes with a risk. It's like a knife, you know, in the hands of a chef. A knife, you can cut steak and make a nice meal. But in the hands of a murderer, that knife will leave someone dead. So that's how AI is. It is both a good thing and a bad thing. We're also having AI vision systems, indirect ways in which the tools are working. I was reading some time back, and because some people say, no, people who are deaf or hard of hearing, they should not be in a construction site. They won't hear the beeps of the other equipment, they'll be destroyed. And I was trying to research how can these people be assisted. And then I came across some of the innovation which takes the sound that comes and converts it into vibration. So you'll be wearing your jacket, and then those vibrations go, it's like a vest, it goes to the back, on the back of the person, and from those vibrations, the person can interpret the sound, what is being said, and things like that. So these are some of the good things about AI that we are seeing happening. And we are also looking at the economics and hence the trainings. Talking about economics, not economics, by the way, economics. Economics has to do with, for instance, furniture that follows the shape of your body. We saw during COVID, most of us, we went home to work on our dining room tables, and we started having back problems. And with AI now in the office, you would be able to have, for instance, your chair linked to the AI to be able to monitor your situation and alert you that stand up now and walk. You have been sitting for too long. Ideally, every hour you should stand up and walk around. You can't be sitting there the whole day. Most of us were given deadlines and we get stuck on our chair for 3 hours without moving. And then the consequences then catch up with us. AR, augmented reality and virtual reality, can now simulate some of the things that cause accidents at work. Like people are using maybe construction equipment or factory manufacturing machinery, which is dangerous. It means now with AI, you are able to use a simulator. You can crash in as many times as you want. You are not damaging anything. You are not killing anyone. So that's a good thing with AI. And we're also seeing accessible learning, e-learning modules. I'll talk about learning a little bit later. But also the issue of managing fatigue. Like if you are wearing that vest we spoke about, the vest will be checking your blood pressure, your sugar level, and whatever. But what's the downside? Too much data, someone having data on you, that data can be abused by somebody else. Data is the new fuel, the new cash cow. So we have to always be aware. Like for instance, all of you keep your money in the banks. Right? Who keeps money under their mattress or their pillow? Okay, all of you keep money in your bank. Your banks know 6 months before you divorce that you are going to divorce. Why do they have to know this information? You are borrowing money, mortgage. They need to know when they need to sell that house to recover their money. And how do they know? You ask me. There are so many variables they are tracking on you every day. For instance, you are married, but you are buying flowers every month, but the flowers are not going to your home address. You and your wife, you are eating dinners every Saturday, swiping your credit cards at different restaurants, you are not together. All these are red flags, and AI uses, it will use these data points to aggregate them and give a probabilistic score. When it reaches a certain threshold, they are saying at 60%, these ones, in 6 months, they are heading for a divorce court. So this information is being monitored already. So you just need to be aware of these things. Smart buildings, which dictate the amount of lighting. The Hawthorne experiments, those who are familiar with some of the workplace studies, they demonstrated the relationship, the correlation between the lighting in the environment and the productivity of workers. So the AI can be able to adjust the lighting system so that it enhances your comfort, your productivity, adjust the temperature, and all these things automatically. Our facilities team here, when I come back, hopefully I'll be invited in another 10 years. Maybe we'll be talking about and reminiscing and saying, remember, we're joking about these things, they've become a reality. But there is also the issue of teleworking, thanks to COVID, which I mentioned, and the efficiency gains coming with AI. And then, of course, we do have a lot of negative impacts as well, where the exoskeletons might malfunction, and overconfidence and over-reliance. I was talking to my child, they did research on ChatGPT, and they came to me, we had an argument, then they went and researched on ChatGPT. I came back, I said, Dad, now I've got evidence, indisputable evidence. I said, where did you get it? I got it from ChatGPT. I'm like, okay, do you know where it's coming from? He says, well, it's ChatGPT, it's AI is correct, right? I said, no, it's aggregating. Even me, if I write my nonsense and put there, that nonsense becomes part of the training for the future answers that you are going to get. So you need to understand the limits of the AI. And then we're also seeing a risk now in the workplace of high performers getting overloaded in the workplace. The AI, the more you work, the more it wants to give you more work. So the slackers, it will say, this one is a slacker, John is a hard worker. This task, I think John is the one who will do it better. Let's assign it to John automatically. So for being good, you end up being the bad guy. But there are upsides to it as well. In my workplace, of the 18 countries I support, 5 are French-speaking, and 1 is Portuguese. I speak some Portuguese, okay? My French is very basic. But I communicate every day with French-speaking countries, and as soon as an email comes, the AI is sitting there in my inbox, we convert it to English, I read it, I reply in English, it converts to French, it goes back. They send me a 100-page report. Within 2 minutes, I convert it to English with all the formatting, I read, I make comments, back to French, they see it, I ship it back. And I was in Madagascar 2 weeks ago, they were shocked that my French is not as good as they thought. They thought I'm so fluent because we've been communicating via AI. And now they see the real me, and the bonjour, bonjour, comment ça va, then it stops there. So, yeah, but at the moment, because of AI, I'm operating as if I was between, I think, 2 and 3 people. Some of the work which I used to take a month to do, I can now do in a day, which is beautiful. But of course, I know the weaknesses of AI, so I'm not just going to throw it into AI and then ship it to you. I have to still check that the AI is doing the right thing. All right, so I'm going to move a bit faster now, as I promised to stop exactly after 30 minutes. Let's talk a bit about the gig work, the gig economy. People like Uber drivers that I started with, saying these people, how do we ensure that they are not always connected? Because some of them, to make money, they have to be connected. So they will wake up, they will work at night, they will go to dangerous places, expose themselves, because if you are not paid, or rather, if you don't work, you don't get paid. And some of them, there is a challenge when they get injured. I'm not saying Uber, I'm just talking about gig economy workers, musicians, and all these people who are not inside the normal systems of social protection. And there's this, what we call the surveillance stress, where when you get home, the boss keeps sending you WhatsApp messages. You officially knocked off at 5, but at 9, cling, oh yeah, that file is urgent, please attend to it. And this is when your spouse is expecting quality time with you. So we are seeing that impact on our personal lives. And of course, there is the inequality associated with it. Where those who are well-funded, obviously, are going to get these tools. Those who are not going to get these tools. So those workers, for instance, who work for companies that do not perform well or don't have funding, are not going to have access to these tools. You'll be going to work for 8 hours every day, but the other guys will be done with their work in 4 hours. You will have to finish in 4 hours. I mean, in 8 hours, even if you are working from home. And of course, the beauty is the access to some of the emergency alerts. But if you don't have a smartphone, how are you going to have an emergency alert? So all these inequalities just make life even more difficult. And then let's look at some of the gaps that are there with these platform jobs, where you could be hired and fired without an HR person intervening, simply based on the performance and what the AI says you have done or you are doing. And then, of course, the health issues, the compensation, the pension, which most of these people don't have access to. The ILO is working hard to try and see how people who work in these platform economies can be represented, can be compensated fairly, can find their word by combining with other people in similar situations. So you see maybe a driver who is working for these platforms beating robots because the algorithm is telling them that your target for today is so much, and that can risk their lives, can risk the lives of the other motorists, the lives of the passengers and everybody else, because the algorithm says your target today is so much. And for them to reach that target, they need to break the rules of the road. And then, of course, the hazardous work that we have already spoken to, where people tend to take higher risk work so that they can maintain the income. And then we also getting people not having legal advice or anyone to support them when things go wrong. All right, so I'm going to move quickly and try and talk about the academia a little bit, because I think since we're in a place like this, it's good to talk about how we are benefiting in academia and what are some of the challenges that we're going to face, okay? So let me try and get to that one. I'll skip that, some of the stuff, and go straight to the academia, because I think it's relevant where we are today. Okay, so the benefits for academia, obviously, is remote work. You are able to do work at home, do the marking. I once did, when I was doing a course in coding, whenever I submitted my assignment, within 5 seconds, I got my results with the marking and everything done. So that's a good thing, obviously, if you are marking students where it's quantitative work. It doesn't have to be an exact answer. You can give it a range and say if they give a range within this. But now with large learning models like ChatGPT and whatever, we're even able to see assessment and quantification of work that is not necessarily quantitative. We're seeing in the workplace, people are hired by algorithms now. The algorithm will say, oh, this one, we say we want this degree, they don't have it out. Even if they say they want 5 years experience and you have 4 years, 9 months, you'll be kicked out because the algorithm is working on absolutes sometimes, unless if they give it that buffer, allow it to say, okay, if they are almost there, allow them. So we're getting people hired by AI, we're getting people monitored by AI, we're getting people fired by AI. So it is a weird world. And then collaboration tools, now we are able to do joint research with people in different parts of the world in real time. The other day I was doing a research paper, and I was shocked because I was using a tool where I'll be able to pull like 100 research papers, and each paper interrogate about 20 things about it, and say, this paper, tell me what was the objective, what was the methodology, what was the research gaps, you know, what was the main findings, da-da-da-da-da, and then you have a spreadsheet of 100 by 20, and then you look at that now, use AI to analyze that. So within a few hours, I literally sifted and pulled out of 100 research papers, the 10 that I wanted to focus on, and things like that. So we are going to see now, if people were taking 6 months to do literature review, now they will be doing literature review in 24 hours. So should we still have a PhD done in 3 years? Or should we now reduce? Because I know some people, they do at work that takes 2 weeks, especially the remote workers. They'll do the work and then sit and chill and watch TV or go elsewhere. There was a guy who was known to use AI until one time he was watching soccer and the cameras zoomed on him. And then the boss then said, but you are the best worker here. You have to fire you, otherwise everyone else will go and watch Kaiser Chiefs during working hours. And the guy says, I use AI. I'm done with my working 30 minutes every day. So what should you do? Should you reward that worker or should you fire them? So these are some of the things I think we need to think about. In technology, it's a game. It's a fighting game between the student and the teacher. The teacher is trying to set hard questions. The student is trying to use AI to find all the answers. So we need a new model for learning, training, and assessing people. So since I promised to stop, I think I'm left with 1 minute. I want to emphasize that the ILO has conventions which define how we need to handle with some of these things, because they are framed in generic ways. They are not outdated. They may have been set 10, 20 years ago, but they are being updated, some of them. So I think these are the standards. There is one called C155 and C187. If you can Google these, I think you'll be able to read more about some of these things. And of course, there are recommendations on what to do to ensure that we have the best AI governance, algorithmic fairness, and transparent worker monitoring, and to ensure that then we have this transformation impact or transformative impact of AI. We have challenges and opportunities, and then we can enhance worker wellness. In all these, productivity and cost are not the only things. We saw in the play that we need to have healthy workers, safe workers. So on that note, with 21 seconds to spare, I'll stop here and thank you.
Mr. Sibanda, thank you for an insightful presentation on how we can embrace AI, but at the same time also be mindful of the negative impact the AI tools may have on individuals and our personal data. We are appreciative that you zoomed into how our academic community can effectively engage AI to support our students and ensure their graduateness. Thank you so much. VC in absentia and Mr. Motebele, our VP, I'm quite humbled by the request of our choir to render a song for us. So please welcome them, and we're really humbled and grateful for your appearance. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our very own UNISA choir for the wonderful item that you've rendered. We're going to move on to the second part of our program, second half of our program, where we'll be getting some words or address from our guest speakers. Going to start with Ntate Letlogonolo Mokotloulwane. I've got a feeling that I butchered your surname, sir, earlier when I was introducing you. I tried by all means to get it right. Mokotloulwane. Yes, okay. Ntate Letlogonolo is is the president of the Safety and Health and Environment Campus Association of South Africa, SHECASA. He's coming here to give us a 10-minute address. Thank you very much.
Program directors, let me take this opportunity to thank you for the opportunity given to me today at UNISA to come and talk about the very intriguing, very interesting topic of today, that even if we don't want to talk about, the truth of the matter is it is now in existence. To the Vice-Chancellor in absentia and all the VPs present here and the executive management of the university, I am very honored to be standing in front of you today to be speaking. In the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'll be off here. But before I start with my presentation, SHECASA, as mentioned, represent all the 26 universities in South Africa, and we are now making strides into penetrating our TVET colleges as well. I don't know if my presentation is still coming. So I happen to represent that sector. Where I work, I am from the Durban University of Technology in Durban, and I am the safety manager of the university. So I am really honored to be standing in front of you today. And very interestingly, yesterday when I was driving down from the airport, someone from UNISA introduced me to this app that was able to tell me that, hey, be careful. There's a breakdown ahead of you. I used to have this other app that didn't tell me that. So this one app being introduced by UNISA, a colleague of mine was able to tell me that there is an accident or there is a breakdown ahead of you. And it then said there's a lot that we are ignoring when we talk about AI, but it is there, as the previous speakers has articulated. So I'm not going to waste your time. My time is very limited, but these are a few things that we'll be talking about, the impact of digitalization and AI on our safety and health, and then I'll be dwelling much on how do we navigate through the challenges of digitalization and AI, particularly in the health and safety space. And then, of course, we'll be dealing with all other issues that address such. Mr. Sibanda say, I'm tempted to say I'm biased to the fact that I'm in the university space. So much of my talk will be more on the university sector in as much as we cover all other spectrums. But I can't say unfortunately. I would rather say with a blessing and confidence that this is the environment one understands better, and we always advocate. We have our dear colleague from SIOSH, and every time I attend SIOSH, because I'm a member thereof, I always raise my hand and say, but you guys always talk about industry. What about the academic space? Because everything that's spoken in this big conferences is all in the industry. And they neglect the academic space a lot. Then we find ourselves lingering somewhere in the thin air, not knowing exactly what to do. So we end up trying to juggle around things because eventually we have to be compliant with the law. So that is why I'm advocating for such. And so you will pardon me on that. My introduction is as follows, and I've stolen from Iwa Brain, who says workplace health and safety are paramount for organizations worldwide. Traditionally, these areas are managed through paper-based compliance procedures, periodic inspections, and manual reporting. With the integration of advanced digital tools and AI, the landscape of workplace safety is undergoing a profound transformation. As I said earlier on, that we like it or not, we have been using it, but maybe it was not clear or has not dawned enough that it is actually AI. And now with COVID, we were forced to apply this big thing called AI, and we had to use it in one way or the other. I'm going to be pointing particularly on this slide. I will talk about this here, and I said digitalization and AI have a potential to significantly improve our work health and safety by enhancing risk management, promoting ergonomic practices, and enabling real-time health monitoring. Ladies and gentlemen, you will realize as we go along, and I won't quote all my slides, but I have red flags here and there, so that when we come out of this conference, we would then say, what is it that we need to do that we have not been doing? or what is it that we've been doing wrong that we need to correct. So they will be highlighted as we go along. As I said earlier on, that I will be dwelling much on how do we navigate through this space, because for some of us, especially old school, in as much as we're using it, but we're still ignoring and we still are in denial that certain things will have to be done through AI. So as I said there, unlike the industry, universities are not only centers of learning and research, but we have a complex place where everyone meets. I'm not sure of the numbers of UNISA. Let me talk about DUT. We have 35,000 students at DUT, 2,500 staff members. Now you can understand everyday life in the university of that magnitude. UNISA might be far above that. So you can understand the integration and the communities that are there. It's so complex. People are crisscrossing each other from one department to another, from one faculty to another. So we really are in a space that is so engulfed with many communities around. So how do we navigate through that? The first thing is we have to ensure that we keep on training ourselves, especially we safety professionals and practitioners and everyone else who happens to be in that space or who is exposed. Because all of us, according to the Act, we have to advocate health and safety in one way or the other. But as safety practitioners, we are given that responsibility to ensure that the university complies, and of course, the industry where one works. So it is important that we don't neglect the fact that training is very important. Let us ensure that we collaborate with people that are in the space, our IT people. Let's call them, let's say, guys, here is AI. How do we incorporate this thing into our system, into our health and safety management system? We have to develop some kind of literacy that talks to that understanding. We know that we are used to writing a lot. We are used to, we are people on the ground. Now, all of a sudden, this AI will channel us to have our iPads and our tablets where things will be done on the tip of the tongue. So that needs continuous training. For workers and students, again, training. The one element that perhaps the universities, and I'm happy that management committee or MENCO, or I don't know how you call it here, at home we call them EMC. They are sitting here today to understand how important your support is. 1. 2, to understand how important we need to give down the information, cascade it down to even the cleaner, the security. Because the problem in the university, and with due respect because I'm in a university, we always say we are an academic institution. Our job is academia, prof. Our sole mandate is academia. Yet, the law says health and safety, even in the academic space, is very important. So the support that we need on the ground is very vital, because otherwise your safety is my responsibility. If you employed me as your safety officer in the university, you are saying from the 16.1, 16.2, 8.1, you are saying you take the responsibility of the health and safety of so many thousands of people in your watch. Therefore, if you don't support me, how then am I going to ensure that these people are taken care of in terms of that? So now that we are in the new space of AI, it's very important that we get such support. It's very important how we cascade. Another thing is, when I spoke this morning, I was caught off guard to talk to Radio UNISA, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And I just said to them, one of the things that we need to guard against is the issue of how do we cascade transformation to the bottom levels, because normally transformation, when it comes from the higher levels, higher echelons of the university, but how it's cascaded down is different, and it gets to the point where it's no more cascading in a way that is well received. That is why you will have rejection. because the manner in which transformation is being cascaded down is not making every one of us here to be comfortable with the transformation that is there. So it is very important that you help us with that. In the interest of time, Mr. Sibanda spoke about the wearables that we need to use. He spoke about those that are on construction. They will wear different regalia that is sensitive to whatever needs there need be in terms of their health and safety. So we need to give such, even to our security guys, they need to be equipped now with such equipment, especially in the university sector. We have the securities that are always on the gate that have problems. Everyone has problems, and the levels of problems are not the same. But you will find that they need some kind of a support. So AI, if it's there, it will help us to achieve certain problems to be resolved thereof. And then again, we need to ensure that we foster collaboration between technology and oversight. One of the things, Mr. Sibanda, I know that technology is now so advanced that this one robot can do a work of 10 people, which is another issue that needs to be addressed accurately and sensitively. Because one of the things that make us to reject transformation is the fact that when AI comes, it means 10 people are losing their jobs. Then how you cascade it down to us and make us understand is very important. That, okay, it's not that you're going to lose a job, but these are the steps and processes that need to be followed. So we are scared because of that issue there, the replacement of our human judgment, the replacement, the displacement of our jobs. Very important. But as we said earlier on, through the support, through the training, then we will be able to address the issue of job displacement. Again, we need to ensure that we address the reskilling. It's a new thing in this space. It might have been there before, but in the space of health and safety, it's going to be a new thing. Therefore, it has to have the courses that address the reskilling of those who are in those roles. And then I'm almost done. We have to ensure that the stress levels of people when we apply AI are in such a way that they are at a normal state. Right now, everyone is sort of anxious as to what's going to happen with my job. My stress level could go high. What is it that I can do? But now we need those people that will say, look, now that we are entering into this space, therefore these are the processes, just come and be part of the transformation. Remember again, we have people that are still old school. We have people that are old by their age anyway. So those people, how do you inculcate the understanding of this so-called AI into their minds? Then it means you are raising up their stress levels. So how you deal with that is very, very important. I think this will be the last slide, or the one towards the light. Thank you, sir. Very importantly, as staff, students, and practitioners, let us ensure that there is collaboration. This issue of it is his, hers, and theirs, safety is our responsibility, all of us. So it is important that we collaborate, all the departments that need to assist in terms of our health and safety and AI and digitalization. In closing, we have to have a sense of proactiveness when we start the issues of digitalization and AI, because it's very key that we understand that this will be, or if it has not been started already, it will be a new thing to some of us. Therefore, how we put it across to people, it is very, very important. And lastly, we have to ensure that we address the issues of health and ethics within the space itself. As Mr. Sibanda said earlier on, someone was working, he's able to do in 30 minutes time, finish their job. The rest of the time is doing, now you have to check the ethics thereof, balance the ethics and the production in terms of ensuring that that person is doing the right job. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. God bless you. microphone. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ntate Lonolo. My apologies. For focusing on how digitalization and AI can help us navigate our university as a complex space where we have over 400,000 students and a staff complement of over 5,000 at different levels and different roles, and we can collaborate with various partners and stakeholders to enhance safety and health at our work. Thank you so much. I am mindful that Dr. Khole has a flight to catch. So ladies and gentlemen, her bio, it should be screened, but just in short, Dr. Mary Khole holds the position of lecturer at the University of Pretoria in the Department of Social Work and Criminology and a part-time lecturer for the Employee Wellness Short Course of the University of Pretoria Enterprise. She's a prominent workplace wellness expert and operates a thriving business named Mabebe Wellness Professional Solutions. Dr. Khole's areas of experience include gender-based violence, explicitly intimate partner violence, as well as victim empowerment programs for women who have experienced GBV. Additionally, she has a strong interest in mental health and corporate sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Khole, as she comes up, Mr. Motebele and Prof, if you could please come up once Dr. Khole is done, just to present our gift. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
While the edit, okay. Thank you very much, Program Director, and good morning, colleagues and protocol and all executives. Thank you very much for the opportunity to come and be part of this very important, I call it the elephant, because AI came to us and it became the elephant in the room. And I'm also blessed to come from an academic space, and it is a very big elephant to us in the academic space. I can just give an example. Not long ago, I think it was last week or 2 weeks back, I got a student, a first-year student, coming to my office saying, Doc, I'm deregistering from the university. And I said, is it financial reasons or what? She said, no. I cannot be seen to be sitting here doing a degree for 4 years for something that I can get on AI. And it was a shock for me, but then in reality we know that there's a lot of information on AI that is either for the positive or for the negative. So as I get into the matter of the day, and I know ILO is also advocating for decent work while we are talking about artificial intelligence, but also having such dialogues and conversations. So I'm all very privileged to be one of the people who are going to be participating in this dialogue today. I'm going to take us back, way back, and I'm really exposing my age. The onset of the computer and the calculator. And as a mental health advocate as well, if I can just get the feel from the room, how did we feel when we started using computers? Anxiety, right? We were anxious because we didn't know. Computers, calculators, when they're introduced in schools, there were always conversations that, is it not going to take away the thinking capacity of our students or our learners? The same applies to what is happening right now with artificial intelligence and digitalization that is coming before us. So it's normal. We are going to be anxious. It's normal. We're going to think about what the worst could happen. So whatever that is happening right now, the conversations, the dialogues is normal. We are bound to go through this process. I'm not going to go through the The explanations of digitalization or AI, as you all know, but then I just want to highlight that why does it matter? Why is it important for us to be sitting here talking about it? It matters because the shift to smart technology is reshaping the modern workplace, including the risks and protection for workers. So it does matter. We have to talk about it because, like I said, it's the elephant that we really have to face in the workplace. If you can identify our traditional workplace hazards, our industrial theater, I think, highlighted all of them quite vividly and very interestingly. We can see and we understand what were the hazards or what are the hazards that we are faced with in the workplaces. Before digitalization, we know that we had to do manual labor, we had manual labor injuries, exposure to harmful substances, repetitive strain injuries, human error-related accidents. This is before we could have digitalization in the workplace. How many of us can identify this picture? What is this? Alcohol breathalyzer. Yes. So before we could have tools like this in the workplace, especially in the mining or construction environments where it's dangerous, we can appreciate how many employees would come to work under the influence of alcohol and drugs, and how many accidents would happen due to this. And now, without any doubt, I can tell that this has really minimized a lot, this small tool has minimized a lot of injuries and accidents that could happen in the workplace just because of the detection, the level of detection of alcohol in the workplace. Therefore, how is digitalization and AI the game changer? How is it changing the game in the workplace? For the positive changes, we see that and I think one of my colleagues highlighted on a few of this. Now we can look at issues like smart sensors that monitors air quality, temperature, and workers' health. And the industrial theater also was highlighting a few of those. We know that AI-powered robots can handle dangerous tasks. Somebody was talking about robotics getting underground, detecting danger before human can go inside. Predictive analytics that focus equipment failures on preventing accidents. But then these were highlighted also by a few of my colleagues. What are the negative impacts? Because we can not run away from the fact that we do still face some challenges of artificial intelligence. And my previous colleague who just passed here talked about issue of job displacement. And Mr. Sibanda says, we should not be scared. As long as we can incorporate, as long as we can train, we should not be scared and wary of job displacement and increased stress. The stress, we cannot overemphasize the issue of stress. I remember when the computers were coming in, I worked with a colleague. When we had to be trained on computer use, how to use computers. He was an elderly woman. I think we need to also have mental health, mental preparation when it comes to the training, because she was very resistant. She felt she would never use a computer. And I can tell you she even resigned because she felt like now the world is moving towards a direction that she's not prepared for. So mental preparation is also very important. Negative impacts again, over-surveillance, and we cannot also run away from the fact that there's over-dependence. Sometimes we end up not applying our minds on things that are too obvious because we think robotics or AI or digitalization or all those tools will help us to do that. So dependence on technology can lead to new types of human errors that are related to ignorance and negligence. The positive health impacts of AI in the workplace, I think somebody touched on that, previous speakers, I'm not going to look at that. Reduced exposure to physical hazard, and I think Mr. Sibanda touched entirely on that and overemphasized. I'm going to skip this for the purpose of time. And then also the negative health impacts, we talked about job insecurity and anxiety, increased surveillance, digital fatigue and isolation, ethical concerns. And I think also when you look at, especially in the academic space, we are saying with the incorporation of AI, the acceptance of the fact that students are going to use AI or everyone is going to use AI, what is the ethical aspect of it? How do you use AI ethically to make sure that you do not take away your human element from it? I tried to put together an Amazon case study. We know who Amazons are. It's a case study on efficiency because of the use of AI, right? With this case study, we see a lot of efficiency because of the introduction of AI and the acceptance of AI, and it increased the efficiency and productivity. Amazon is now a multinational online or digital space. It's quite big, and it's because of digitalization and artificial intelligence. There's workforce productivity tracking, and Mr. Sibanda was talking about that. All AI monitors workers' activities via wearable scanners and cameras. Predictive maintenance, sensors and AI system detect signs of machine failures. Routine optimization for delivery. AI calculates the fastest delivery routes and helps schedule deliveries in real time based on traffic, weather, and package priority. So we can see how this can be used to increase efficiency and productivity in the workplace. As I'm trying to move, the key concerns for the Amazon case study as well was, while AI boosts efficiency, it often leads to increased stress on workers, constant surveillance, and the reduction in job security due to automation. The strategies for safe digitalization and integration. We talked about ethical integration, ethical AI policies, ensure fairness and transparency and worker input, worker training and inclusion, my previous colleague spoke about it, upskilling programs, health impact assessments, evaluate mental and physical effect of new technology, strong cybersecurity. Somebody was talking about breach of cybersecurity because of this constant use of or introduction of this. We need to protect worker data from misuse or breaches. And we have to have the balance between tech and human oversight. What is our undertaking when we look at all these aspects that we have mentioned? AI and digitalization have transformative potential for workplace safety and health. The benefits must be balanced with careful planning and worker support. Together, we can build a safer, smarter, and more sustainable workplaces through the integration. And with the future of work, AI and digitalization will continue to evolve. That is a fact. AI is not coming to take over, but to complement. Emphasis should be on human-centered technology so that job security can be ensured. Safety culture must evolve with technological advancements. In conclusion, so what? We are having these dialogues, we are having these conversations, so what? A transformative change in the world of work is driven by technological innovation and globalization. And also, it is imperative to act with urgency to seize the opportunities, address the challenges to a fair, inclusive, and secure future of work with full, productive, and decent work for all. while we ensure a just transition into a technological future of work, harnessing the fullest potential of technological progress and productivity growth, we need to be inclusive and leave no one behind. With all that, thank you. Oh,
Dr. Khole, thank you for highlighting the importance of conversing on issues of AI and digitalization, and for delving into the history of digitalization and its development and growth as a game changer in our everyday lives. We are also appreciative that you have that you have shown through the Amazon case study the impact of AI and the importance thereof in transformation. Thank you so much. I'm going to call on Professor Magano and Mr. Motebele to please present Dr. Khole with a gift of appreciation from UNISA. Thank you. Can we ask the photographer?
Oh, yes. The photographer. I don't see, but I see the TV one is over there. Over there.
Are we taking?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Can we just find out?
Yeah. I don't, is he coming? Oh, okay. That is, we're going to use your phone. You know, you've got that most technologically advanced tech over there. Colleagues, we are mindful Thank you very much, Dr. Khole. We know that you have to rush to the airport. Colleagues, we are mindful of the fact that we are running behind time as specified on the programs that you have. It's due to the fact that we started, I think, an hour late, but we're trying our best to catch up. We've earlier heard from Ntate Mokotlo from the Durban University of Technology. We just heard from Dr. Khole from University of Pretoria. I know that she's also presented in capacity as from Mabebe Wellness. We're now going to bring it home by introducing Ms. Leonie Lowe, who's our own, coming from our research, sorry. Yeah, Leonie is a dedicated safety management specialist with experience in promoting occupational health and safety practices within the academic and organizational context. She lectured safety management at the University of Pretoria for a decade. And I think her bio is on the screen. Yeah, I'm just summarizing. As she's busy preparing her presentation. She's been focusing on safety management, workplace safety compliance, and sustainable OHS leadership. In addition to her teaching and learning research experience, she plays a key role in advancing research ethics and integrity at institutional level. Ms. Lowe is currently pursuing a PhD in event risk management, where she'll be further deepening her expertise in safety and sustainability across the sector. Ms. Lowe, the stage is yours. Thank you very much.
A good afternoon to all of our guests at UNISA. It's been wonderful to hear your inputs and views, and also to you, colleagues. A good afternoon, and thank you so much for being here today. Colleagues, today I would like to explore a topic that sits at the intersection of innovation and integrity, ethical intelligence, integrating AI responsibly in occupational health and safety. I'm wearing both of my hats today, as the Research Ethics Officer of the University of South Africa, and then also my academic position as a lecturer in safety management with the College of Economic and Management Sciences. I want to start with a quote by Sri Amit Ray that says, "Doing no harm, both intentional and unintentional, is the fundamental principle of ethical AI systems." And I like that they highlight intentional and unintentional. We need to think a little bit further than just what we intended to happen and look at the broader impact of the decisions that we are making. We are witnessing a rapid digital transformation in the workplace. Artificial intelligence, automation, and smart technologies are revolutionizing how we think about safety. From predictive maintenance to wearable tech, AI offers exciting opportunities to prevent injuries and save lives. But without ethical guardrails, digital innovation can lead to surveillance overreach, biased decisions, and exclusion. There is a critical question we must ask. Are we integrating these tools in a way that uphold human dignity, fairness, and privacy? Ethical intelligence means we don't just adapt technology, we adopt it responsibly. Ethical intelligence is the application of ethical reasoning to how we design, implement, and govern workplace technologies. It's not just about ticking compliance boxes. It's about embedding core values like transparency, accountability, and respect for autonomy into our safety systems. It aligns with regulatory frameworks like POPIA, standards such as ISO 45001, and the International Labour Organization's commitment to decent work. This is especially important in high-risk environments where decisions powered by algorithms can mean the difference between safety and harm. Let me give you a few examples. AI can be a game changer. It can alert workers to toxic gas exposure through wearables. It can detect missing PPE in real time. It can predict fatigue-related accidents before they happen. But it also brings risks. Imagine being constantly surveilled by facial recognition software that flags you as non-compliant without understanding the context. Or having a safety violation attributed to you by an algorithm you cannot question or even see. These risks aren't theoretical. They're already happening in some sectors, and they highlight the urgent need for ethical safeguards. So how do we move forward? We start by embedding ethics into every stage of technology adoption. That means conducting impact assessments before rolling out AI tools, ensuring transparent data practices, and obtaining real informed consent, not just a signature. Involving employees in the design and testing of safety technologies, and maintaining human oversight, because algorithms can support decisions, but they should never replace human judgment in matters of safety. We already have strong frameworks to guide us. ISO 31000 reminds us to take a risk-based approach. ISO 45001 centers safety within a system of continual improvement. POPIA ensures that we protect personal data with care. To these, we can add AI ethics principles: fairness, explainability, non-discrimination, and accountability, as outlined by bodies like OECD, the EU, and UNESCO. Together, these can form the backbone of ethical AI integration in occupational health and safety. In closing, let me say this. AI is not inherently good or bad. It is shaped by the values of those who design and deploy it. As safety professionals, educators, and leaders, we have a responsibility to ensure that the digital future we build is not only smart, but just, inclusive, and humane. Let us innovate with integrity, because safe work is smart work, and ethical intelligence is our compass in this digital age. I thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Lowe. Thank you very much. As I said, colleagues, we are mindful of the fact that we're running behind schedule, and as a result, we're just going to move things just around just a little. The performance by Mpela production will come after the address by our labor representatives. I see they've been urging to come. But before that, I'm going to introduce our last guest speaker, Mr. Harold Gaze, who is the Vice President of the South African Institute of Occupational Health and Safety, SAIOSH, yes. I don't have the bio here, but we've been working a lot with SAIOSH, our health and safety officials. As we said, the Institutional Health and Safety Committee is placed within the Operations and Facilities Committee. Our various health and safety officials actually do interact with SAIOSH on a regular basis. So we've invited Mr. Gaze to come and address us on this critical matter that revolves around occupational health and safety. Thanks very much, Corne. Mr. Gaze, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Good day, audience. I'll explain all about me once my slide's on. Thank you for inviting SAIOSH to present. SAIOSH is the leading health and safety association or organization in South Africa. We've got over 35,000 members. We also are a part of the IOSH system, which has got like 130,000. I belong to both of them. I'm a fellow member of both of them. I'm also the Vice President. I have got a presentation to present. Okay, so I'm going to talk on how AI and digitalization is impacting on health and safety. I'm going to give a couple of examples and explain the practicality of it in basic terms. There are many forms that AI covers, so as you go through, some of them I'll bypass. The previous speaker spoke on a lot of it. So as you can see, that's my name, Harold Gaze. Okay, those are some of, I put my qualifications or the organizations I belong to. So I'm a chartered occupational hygienist. I'm also a chartered safety practitioner. Those are, I belong to, I'm a certified practitioner in Britain, South Africa, and America. So I have a couple of qualifications, and obviously South Africa, I'm a chartered member as well in South Africa, and a fellow member. I'm also, if you look at it, which I didn't put on, I'm also a part of the American Conference for Governmental Industrial Hygienists, which is the biggest occupational hygiene facility organization in the world. I'm also an acoustic practitioner. Okay, AI started a long time ago. So they're talking about old people earlier and chirping. It actually started in 1955. That's when computers started. It's been allocated to a particular guy. I'm not going to talk too much about it. And it's slowly gone through phases. So as it went along, it developed. There's been a couple of phases where it's collapsed and then been reinstituted as a program. So it hasn't always been a four-way. There's always been comments about it, etc. Obviously, the simple computers were the, well, in my day, when I started, they were the big computers. Now they're small laptops and even smaller than that. So they are developing. From an occupational health and safety point of view, the majority of the force behind the AIs comes from when something really goes wrong. So this is Deepwater Horizon, the oil well that was outside of America that exploded. It had done all those risk assessments. They'd done all those things, and those risk assessments had told them there were problems, but the management and ownership decided they were losing too much money a day, they'll carry on, and that's what happened. It's actually just about bankrupted BP. So BP, who owned it, well, they didn't own it, they were leasing it, were held accountable. They'd spilt trillions of liters of oil into the ocean for nearly 6 months before they could stop it. So AR from health and safety is probably mostly attributed to that, because those things needed to be addressed better, and those results there, or that are always there, needed to be looked at better. And that's one of the things that it does quite well. Okay, so AR, oh, okay, a bit further forward. Okay, so let me just, it should be this one. Okay, so AI has got two levels, basically proactive, meaning that it's now and close to now. And obviously, the second part is reactive. Reactive predominantly means going looking back at all the records that have been done, looking at things that have been done, and seeing if they did it right. So you're going to see many of the things that I'm going to talk about, there were horrendous mistakes made, and things happened, and now we can look back at it, and AI can help because of the amount of records you've got to look at. I'll show you one picture from Australia where they looked at the asbestos in Australia because of the issue. Okay, this diagram basically just shows you one little thing, that safety and death from safety, which is the main thing in occupational health and safety, is only about 15% of the total deaths. All the rest are occupationally health related. Okay, so there's a much greater risk of death. The problem with the occupational death, it's not instantaneous for most, because it's a disease, and it takes a long time to occur. Some, like asbestos, 50, 60 years or even longer, and somebody's got to keep records for that. So in South African terms, those records now have to be kept for 50 years. Okay, so they've spoken on this. It's got to be validated, the system, it's got to be ethical, etc. So I'm not going to talk too much on that. When we look at health, I'm separating health and safety for a moment, and then we'll get to back. There's public health, occupational health, and occupational hygiene. Those are the three main factors that fall into health. I'll just explain those briefly. So, not very good knowledge when you look at the deaths from occupational diseases. If you look at health, the medical errors are #1 cause of death worldwide. So that, definitely they need to look at my slide that said go and do some reactive assessments of the what happened before and find out why these things happen. I know of at least 6 to 10 people that have died due to medical malfunction or medical misdiagnosis. So if we look at occupational health, I'm not going to talk too much about it. The new legislation that's coming out, that's going to change the opinions quite a lot, because the new regulations are going to call for the occupational health practitioners and their staff to be, I won't say competent, because they are, but their systems have to be justifiable. In other words, they're going to have to go and get systems that are accredited. So that will be like SANUS accredited, which could make huge differences in how they operate. Because at the moment, it's what's in my head, I tell people, whereas with the SANUS system, you actually have to go through a whole set of series, and it can't be in your head, it has to be in a paper form, so you actually know exactly what's put in. The occupational hygiene system falls under, well, obviously, occupational hygiene is art and science, so it's very scientific. Being able to anticipate, identify, evaluate, and control. So I'm going to give you an example of that. Yeah, that's the one I'm pressing. It's jamming everything there. That's jumped off. That's why you need technically a mouse. Yeah. Okay, so it's back there. Okay. That's fine. That's right. Yeah, just got to shut up there. Yeah, okay. So quickly, anticipation is the ability to understand what you're going to go and do to go and do the field work in occupational hygiene. Occupational hygiene requires people to go in the field. AI is ideally suited to this, where there's lots of documentation, there's lots of information around, and you can take that and then establish what you're going to do. Because otherwise, when you go to the site, you actually got no knowledge of what you're doing. And so you're working in the dark. And most of the tools that you have to carry, because there's lots of them, you may not even bring because you don't think there's a problem there. So it's very important to do the anticipation before. In our case, for the company I work for, we force the person to fill out a document that says you will have done all this, and then they have to follow the system through. Okay, there is a system that's for you guys to check. If you want to look at how to design systems and do things, management programs, health and safety, that's the app. You go to it, it's an AI app. It will tell you, once you give it the information, it will design it for you. But again, you've got to use your knowledge to see that it's right, because there could be issues. So that's one of the ones that we use. Obviously, the second portion is identification, how to identify the risk. In this case, we've also got an AI system. This is a British one. So this allows you to collect the data and to start the data collection for risk assessments. Just as an example for ergonomics, which is also identification, we look at the task of the person going to do it, and we also look at the person. So the person has a human factor, so we work out a risk. So an example of smart tools, this is one, okay? It can tell me everything about my health all day, all night, as long as I got it on it. The second smart tool that I've got is this, which has got about 40 apps on, including the one that's for my health, and that so I can calculate all of the calculations I need for this. Although we have another computer program that does it, so we can calculate the human factors. Once we get the age, the experience, the person's body weight and his height, and we can calculate that risk, and then that risk will be calculated to work out the ergonomic risk by using the task factors. I didn't put the task factors because they're like 20 pages long and they can vary substantially. And from that you get the ergonomic risk. That will tell you what the risk is. It will tell you what the human factor risk is, and it will also tell you what the task factor risks are in detail. And then, obviously, in many cases we measure. That's smart tools that give you results. So this is just a typical example of some results. I listed 3 results here, and I listed an exposure limit, which comes out, the standard. If you look at it, you'll see there's one sample over, and you'd say, well, that's a problem. These are 3 different employees in the same work environment, and you've actually missed the risk. So your actual risk assessment is useless or not valid. The occupational hygiene, which is industrial hygiene, in America last year, and in the previous year in South Africa, they did a test on the capabilities of the occupational hygienist to professionally judge what these samples are. Okay, they gave a bit more than that, and they used a button system to check. Only 4% of all the people got it right. So it showed that without AR backup, with a computer program, you're not going to get it right. The next one. Just want to stop. Can I just press it? Yeah. Okay, so this one just shows you the calculations that got it done. So there's lots of format for it. I'm not going to speak on it.
No, not like that.
Just press that. Okay, that's one of the things it will give out. So it will tell you that your environment's not safe. And then it actually does the calculation for all 3 of the people. And if you read it, you'd see that overexposure. Then this calculation tells you where it falls into, what risk you got. So if you looked at those 3 samples, you'll see they're all in category 3 and 4. So there's a big problem. This just shows you predictive modeling, how to do it and how to calculate it using a sound level meter. This has a sound level meter on it, costs 20,000 Rand, the sound level meter component. This is it was a predictive calculation using a predictive modeling in Australia. Australia used 12 to 20 million cubic meters of asbestos, and it's now banned in Australia, and they spent predictive modeling using AR to calculate the areas, because 60% of the areas in Australia are people, not houses, not industry. So the color was huge.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. And the rest just on control. Thank you.
Please stay on the stage. Colleagues, before we lose our speakers, if they could please come to the stage so that we could just honor them. And thereafter, if our recognized union representatives could please ready themselves. Thank you. I'm going to ask that you also think of limiting what you need to say. Thank you so much. If our speakers could come. Thank you. Photography, if you could please have a group photo, and thereafter the gifts. Yes, thank you. One photo. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. While our guests are leaving the stage, I'd like to call upon the chairperson of NEHAU, Mr. Bumoy, and thereafter Ms. Busadi, Semenya, the executive additional member from APSA. Thank you.
Thank you very much, program directors. In absentia, the Principal and the Vice-Chancellor, Prof. LenkaBula, the University Management, and the living distinguished guests, allow me to extend the warmest and the revolutionary greetings from the workers. Amanda. I've noticed that a lot of the speakers have dealt a lot of damage in my speech, especially when it comes to the introduction. I don't have much to say except to say this is the International Day to commemorate safety and health at the workplace. It aims to raise awareness about occupational health and disease and emphasize the importance of prevention of accidents and injuries at the workplace. As I've just said, it is the International World Day to commemorate safety and health at the workplace. Allow me, therefore, to localize it, to frame it within the context of our environment at UNISA. We must frame this World Day for health and safety within the context of UNISA's strategic focus area. The strategic focus area that says to be agile and embed an innovative, collaborative, efficient, and sustainable institution. That is the context within which we are going to drive the message as the workers. In the bigger scheme of the fourth industrial revolution, artificial intelligence has emerged as a transformative force, revolutionizing the way we conduct business at the workplace and offer some critical intervention to enable a digitized environment in a response to workplace challenges. At the core of the digital technologies and the agile system is human resources, that is the workers. In the context of our environment, we must build capacity by providing digital technologies that will enhance our health and safety in the university at large. Such intervention must be creatively offer us an advantage to implement systems that are advanced in ensuring that there is a strict adherence to the requirements of safety and health environment. In the context of our environment at UNISA, we are an institution that has its own strategy of 2030 that envisaged the university that it will be fully online by the year 2030. And that means within this context, we must then be talking about upskilling, reskilling, and multi-skilling of the workers. When, as the workers, we see the employer introducing new systems, call them the commercialization, call them the smart campus, call them the Tsulipilo systems. As workers, we then call upon the employer to say, collaborate with the workers as per your own strategic focus area that says, introduce this agile system in the process, but collaborate with the workers so that you can take away the fears of unknown. The introduction of these technologies necessitated training to our security personnel, cleaning services, health practitioners, and all workers to embrace the changing world and to ensure that workers appreciate the technology developments and their role thereof. Accordingly, this will enhance performance to ensure health and safety into our workplace. Indeed, as workers, that is the attitude, that is the posture, that we see the introduction of these digitized or these technological systems as systems that are going to enhance our own performance, improve our own staff morale, and we see this as one of the systems that is going to actually create work for workers. We are, therefore, as workers, very much supportive of the university strategy, but all that we are calling for is to be consulted in the process, as the strategy puts it. UNISA 2030 strategy anticipates that our services, which include health and safety, will be fully digitized. That is to say, we're talking to the issues of the smart campus. To achieve this strategic objective, it means the employer will have to robustly implement reskilling, upskilling, and multi-skilling programs for the workers that will use, that for the workers will usher in critical digital skills to respond to the technological developments. To deliver the 2030 strategy objective, this will bring flexibility in service delivery through virtual platforms such as flexibility must consider imagining an institution that is not traditionally in operation only within 84. In other words, the introduction of this digitized system, it can enable us to work even beyond the normal 8 to 4 working hours. That is the flexibility it will then provide. We must anticipate and prepare for transformation of policy framework that must align with the developments brought about artificial intelligence. In other words, as much as we are introducing this system, we must also anticipate that there will be a shift in our current policy framework. Therefore, we need to align the current policy framework with the new development. During the introduction of artificial intelligence, employers ought to consult with labor representatives to address the issues of job insecurity. If workers are well consulted, this will help to achieve the main strategic objective to revolutionize health and safety at the workplace. Consulting workers during the introduction of artificial intelligence is consistent with the King Code principles of good governance. In other words, the employer ensures compliance with the best governance practice while ensuring that the workers buy in to this digital transformation strategic objective. That is the belief that we have as workers, as I am drawing to the close, that the introduction of the system is actually consistent with the principles of King Code governance. In drawing to the conclusion, allow me to touch base with just few examples that demonstrate the power of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence-driven proactive maintenance allows the employer to address potential risks before they escalate, minimize the likelihood of accidents and injuries at workplace. Despite the benefit of artificial intelligence in health and safety, however, there are also challenges and ethical considerations that must be addressed. Cybersecurity risk and data mining are but one of the critical potential risks that need to be mitigated. There are legislative compliance matters that ought to be considered in the form of OHS Act and the POPIA Act and many others. The employer, in its technological initiative, is expected to ensure maximum protection of data to mitigate potential risk, establishment of robust policy framework to promote responsible ethical artificial intelligence is to mitigate potential risk. That speaks to the issues of the policy framework as we engage with the new introduction of the digitized world. In the last words of my speech, I wish to conclude by quoting from one of the eminent scholars, Prof. Mawela remarks that there are some things we know to be true. We know it to be true that we are being exposed to artificial intelligence-related technologies at unprecedented speed, and we are called to adapt how we live, learn, and work. As a result, it stands to reason then that the university cannot ignore artificial intelligence. I therefore say the fourth industrial revolution is upon us. We need to embrace, take precautionary measures to mitigate risk while enjoying benefits of improving health and safety in the digital format. I thank you. Amandla.
Thank you, Mr. Boy. Please come.
Thank you, Comrade Trudy. I had literally prepared a speech, and since I'm the last person that is standing between you and lunch, and after what Comrade Bomoy has said, that the preceding speakers have taken most of the words that one would have wished or loved to speak about. So I'm just going to be brief. And as I was joking with Ntate Sibeko sitting next to me, I said that I don't want to be remembered as that person that stopped you from being able to go early to lunch. So like a speed of lightning, I'll just go tsa. 3 things so that, we're able to move on with the program. And instead of looking at the program, the speech that I've prepared, I've harvested from the presentations that have been made to think a little bit about how revolutionizing health and safety, thinking in particular about the role of AI and digitization at work, and the implications that it has for us, one, as organized labor, and the implications that it has for workers. And one of the things that I would like to start my conversation today with you about is to reflect a little bit on the significance of this day. We are saying, Ntate Mutebele as the host, as APSA, that we recognize, we appreciate, and we even support the importance of UNISA observing this day and commemorating it. But we are saying as well that perhaps we need to invest a little bit more to ensure that workers can, we are filling in this hall, perhaps not only even filling in this hall, that we are gathered outside to commemorate this important day of the worker, even though it's coming 2 days earlier, but it coincides as well with May Day, which is the day of the worker. So I'm trying as well, by moving away from the presentation that I made and harvesting from the talks, the presentations that have been made, to also speak to Mahlangu, who I meet daily on the corridors, who is cleaning, making sure that the space is healthy and it's safe for me and disappears quickly afterwards, that she understands the significance of this moment, why it is important for us to think about digitalization, to celebrate it, to commemorate it. And as I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about what Einstein had said, I think it was in the 1960s, and I think that is touching on with the presentation that has been made by Mr. Gaze, that Einstein during that time said that by the time machine takes over man's capacity to think, I wish I will be dead. Yes, Einstein is not there, but I think that also speaks to some of the posture that many of us had adopted when AI was introduced. But I take a leaf as well from what, I think it is in not Ntate Sibeko. Let me just make sure that I name you correctly, our keynote speaker, Ntate Sibanda. I take a leaf from what Ntate Sibanda has said, that AI does not replace a worker. And I hope you're listening to me, Mahlangu. AI does not replace a worker. But what gets replaced here is or rather what is a threat, what is a risk, is the person that will be working that AI. So this basically means then that as UNISA, we need to think a little bit afresh, take a few steps back, and think about our project for skilling, reskilling, and upskilling, because that's basically what that says to me, Ntate Sibanda, that we are not to shy away from AI, because AI is here, but we think about how we move in tandem with AI, such that it does not render us as the workforce redundant, and it does not replace the significance of our space within the workspace. And I want to move on and talk a little bit about the issue of health. There was mention of health impact assessment, enabling real-time health monitoring. While we were being shown, there was a showcasing of some of the risks that AI presents within the workspace. But I'm trying to imagine and think about what an algorithm that will detect health challenges, health risks, mental health problems, physical health problems, what that kind of algorithm would look like. And if Ntate Mtebele and perhaps also Ntate Mahano, UNISA would think about investing in a desktop that would provide an avenue for harnessing, for accessing the information, or generating a database that would identify those members of staff that present with various kinds of illness challenges that obviously impact on productivity, that we will go a long way. And I've spoken in a different forum about the significance of changing the discourse a little bit. Instead of talking about disability, pathology, but we talk a little bit, we see what the potentiality of talking wellness will present. And perhaps one of the things that can accrue from that, and as we're thinking about commemorating this space, what the space means for the worker, and also the relation between the worker, organized labor, and the employer. I've spoken about the importance of thinking about the positioning of wellness within HR. Does it perhaps require unbundling of wellness from employee relations, or does it perhaps usher in, signal in a different moment here where Tate Mutebele and Professor Magano, you need to work alongside each other instead of us talking about occupational safety and health separately and talking about wellness in whatever form it presents, whether it is psychological, whether it is physical, separately, but we think about how we can integrate resources here, and the two portfolios work together to enhance what I will quote what you said, VP Mutebele, a non-negotiable imperative for everyone to make sure that we make occupational health, safety, and security a right. I'm quoting you, and we will definitely quote you in other spaces there on that one. And there was also, I think, mention, it would be remiss of me not to touch a little bit on what has been emphasized by previous speakers and keynote addresses, the issue of remote work and how AI is actually moving, or rather requiring, different forms of environments where employees can interact with their work, and also that enhances productivity. And yes, without being populist or trying to be populist, we know the challenges around remote work, but I think what we can garner from the presentations that have been made here is that we need to think differently. Management, UNISA, alongside, working alongside employees, we need to think differently as well about what is it that is being managed. How do we manage, obviously, Renalebo as well as workers, and that is one of the things I think that has been moving management to force all of us to come to work. And we always say within the labor space that an injury to one is an injury to all. Ne? If one of us is not doing what they're supposed to be doing on their workstation, it affects all of us. I take note, but I have to finish this one. It affects all of us. But I think what has been presented to us about remote work forces all of us, and in particular management, to think differently about how productivity can be managed and policed versus policing specific individuals. And I do, as labor, as APSA, we do get that all employees possibly around the country are also moving towards calling everyone else to the workspace. Is that not counterintuitive based on what has been presented to us about the role of AI, and as we are thinking about revolutionizing the workspace and digitization? Thank you so much.
I almost said, thank you, comrade. Organized labor, we recognize and thank you for championing compliance to OHS and encouraging staff in our constituencies to participate in upskilling, reskilling, and multi-skilling in order for us to be ready to embrace the changing environment in our August University. Thank you for your support as we continually engage and consult staff. Thank you for reminding us that we cannot ignore AI. On the other hand, we recognize areas of improvement as highlighted by you as we together choose to build on a culture where AI and digitalization enhance and ensure our staff and students' health, safety, and wellness at work. And that becomes a priority. We emphasize together with you that occupational health and safety is indeed a right. I thank you. Colleagues, we are now going to move to the closing remarks. I'm just mindful of time and also the fact that you still need to go and exercise and eat. or eat and exercise, I don't know. So I'm going to call upon Mr. Ramotsua Modeseli, Deputy Chairperson of UNISA Institutional Occupational Health and Safety Committee, to do the closing remarks. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. VP, we've been monitoring this event. You obviously will be requesting to have a report as to how this event went in our next institutional occupational health and safety meeting. Very important. We always want to improve. Let me state up front that I think we didn't do well with time. But let me first of all like to start by thanking all of you, all who were able to pitch up, to show up, and be part of this event. I think the speakers and presenters are able to share with us the excellent, thought-provoking presentations. The sessions program director, I understand that Debo Pape and the other colleague that you tried your best in trying to organize and animate these sessions and keeping things both under control and reasonably on time. I think we are about 45, 30 minutes or so late. Our colleagues, the audience, thanks for showing up. Your presence is most welcome. However, most importantly, I want to thank the Vice Principal, Mr. Mutebele Masiababa, to have agreed and provided necessary resources to hold this World Day event. A lot of work has gone into this event, colleagues, and we appreciated the involvement of protection services and facilities departments. We appreciate your Vice Principal Operations, your office, have made it possible for employees in this institution to make a difference in improving the environments for both staff and students, and they always look forward for presenting their OHS reports on a monthly basis. This is encouraging. This is just the beginning. Now, the Vice-Chancellor and Principal in absentia, Professor Puleng LenkaBula, we welcome your presence earlier on in this convergence and your commitment in making it possible that we elevate and lift the bar in this area of occupational safety and health. We thank you very much, even in your absentia. The World for Safety and Health at Work, as it has already been outlined, is a United Nations International Day annual event. We have just started recently. We are starting. It will be different going forward. We are going to elevate it to the next level. And thank you very much for everybody who happens to be here today. I think there was a request that I think going forward, we should fill up the place. It's a World's Day. Everyone should be here, necessarily. Of course, there are multiple events today in this place. The reason behind this event is to promote the prevention. I'm dealing with the bottom lines. To promote the prevention and reduction of occupational accidents, diseases, injuries, and deaths in academic environment. However, the message for this event goes beyond accidents and diseases, but also the rights of employees and workers. And again, in our context, these rights are extended to students who happens to form part of our lives every day. They are here with us all the time. So the environment also, and the rights are extended to them. These kinds of events, therefore, encourage our institution to ensure appropriate work environments, and we therefore have to make sure that infrastructure around these environments is well suited for these transitions. The role of AI, the digital tools, as it has already been presented and outlined, will change the manner in which we do OHS going forward. Of course, leadership, the chairperson of NAHAU is saying that if management can consult us, management have to consult you. It cannot be if, Chief. They have to consult. I think this is what I've realized, and even based on the presentation that we have realized, is that OHS is integrative in its nature. So all stakeholders might have to be part of this to make it a success. Another recurring theme from our deliberations is the importance of effective AI governance. As one of our speakers put it, we need policy that is both timely and timeless. There is a need to ensure that all systems or AI systems are built, deployed, used, and managed to maximize benefits and prevent harm. You might have realized that there are the negatives of AI. So those harms should really, we have to deal with them. They should not happen into our situations. This involves not just thinking about how the models are used of AI, but also the data they are trained on. Promoting responsible use of AI in OHS will be an ongoing and a critical need. It might start to form part of the institutional organizational committee's agenda. We don't have it, it must start to be included so that ultimately we begin to speak about this going forward. But thank you very much. I think our colleague have already said, I don't want to also be part of standing here and people are hungry. So we should rather close this matter on my part with regard to this matter. So I very, very much to thank every one of you who happens to be here, and God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the closing remarks and the vote of thanks, Mr. Modisele. Colleagues, there's just a change in the program, and I'm mindful that we've kept you quite long. So from here, we're going to move to the e-gardens, where you're going to do some exercises with our celebrity, Vusi Shlabangwane, aka Black Frika. He's a fitness and health influencer. Thereafter, you will go to the examination hall 1 and 2 for a delectable lunch. May I ask that the VPs and dignitaries, including the representatives from Labour, please remain behind. Colleagues, thank you so much for your time. We love you. Go well. Thank you.